It's starting. It started. Here we go. Stop
No,
eating.
let me
Put your
finish,
dinner
let me
down.
finish.
That's it. Enough. Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Kubuntu podcast. I'm Rick Timmis, and tonight one of my co-hosts with me is Ovidiu Florin. Ovidiu, are you ready? Do I need to fill a little bit more? Have you finished your dinner yet? How are you, man?
I just have 3 more slices of orange. Let me finish it, please.
Yeah, we're running on a tight schedule, and as usual, Aaron's running on a very tight schedule. He's probably going to be about 15 minutes late, I don't doubt. So we'll catch up with him and ask him how he is when he gets here. All right, let's give you a quick rundown of what we got for you in tonight's show. So we got some user feedback that's going to be coming at you. We've got some documentation updates from Aaron. We've got news from the Kubuntu core team, of course. Hello, Trello. And of course, more news on Google Coding, our mentoring program. And we're going to get you guys out there plugged into the Kubuntu Matrix. That's all coming up on tonight's Linux Action Show. Oh, bollocks. This is the wrong show notes. Anyway. Oh, crazy stuff. Of course, it's not the Linux Action Show, although we do love the guys at Jupiter Broadcasting who have been helping us out with show ideas and kit and microphones and this. We're going to be coming right back at you guys for more help and assistance pretty soon. Anyway, so let's catch up with who's been doing what. Ovidiu, what have you been up to just recently? How are things going with you? I lost your audio, man. You're gone really quiet.
How about now?
Okay, yeah, you unplugged yourself, man.
I tried to use my previous mic. We'll get back to the microphone problem later. So
I know you've been really busy. What's been going on?
At work, one of my colleagues, she went in maternity leave, and right now I'm starting. I won't say by myself because I'm having other colleagues to help me, but many things I have to learn very fast because I have huge bugs. I have big bugs reported and people screaming at me, fix it now, right, fix it. I don't know how this works. So I have to do a lot of reading and read all the code quickly, understand everything fast, and then just fix it. And when I get home, I'm like a zombie. And my wife asks me, what happened? Yes, I coded today. I'm more like zombie every day when I get home.
So it's a steep learning curve, steep learning curve for you.
Very steep. And I'm refactoring. Today I found out something, and I'm going to tell you right now. I fixed a bug last week. And today I tested some other bugs, and apparently that bug fix also fixed 2 more. And
Yay!
And possibly more. I'm doing some triaging right now to find out.
All right, that's good. That's good when that happens. It's like
and that makes me happy.
Yeah, of course it does.
Something else that's new with me. Right now, exactly right now before the show, I wrote a new blog post. And
okay.
I'm hoping, hey guys, if anybody's willing, where should I write it down? Here in the show notes. What's new?
Here. Yeah, put it in the show notes.
But I've placed it in the show notes. So what I've written about is my free software contributions in November 2015. I've started this last month. I'm attempting to write a blog post every month about my free software, well, even hardware, not just software, contributions that I do each month. So at the end of the month or the beginning of the next one, I'm trying to write a blog post about what I've done so far, what I've discovered, where I've contributed, and all that. So this is a series I'm attempting to write, and this month I came in a little late with writing this because I didn't know. Hey, I didn't do that much because I was very swamped at work. So what am I going to write about? And okay, let's just write something. I had that meeting and I had that meeting and I've written that and I've done that. Okay, there are a couple of things. Let's start writing. And then I checked my GitHub contributions history, checked my emails history, and oh my God, I really did something this month. So I've written them in my blog. Take a look. And
Well, we put that in the show notes. And you know, you make a good point actually about what you were saying there, because we were talking probably around the last show about kind of the attitude that one should take towards contributing to free software, and how do you plug into the open source free software community. And I think it was some of the guys at the KDE Sprint that we're talking to and saying, look, you know, this isn't work. This isn't a job. This is like puzzling. It's something that you do for fun. It's something that you pick up and put down and get involved in as and when you like. And of course, it's easy to do those things and kind of just not think about them. I do a bit of this, and I do a bit on Trello, and I do a bit of code, and I compile a bit of this.
Yeah, and I really forgot that I haven't done it, that I've done all these things. But what really motivated me is, and I quoted this, I just came up with this, I don't know if someone said this before or not, contribution to free software is not just writing code. It's anything you do for the improvement of a free software project. And I've done quite a few of these. I've done some translation, I've done some talking, some promotions, some meetings and planning. I've done some bug reports. I've actually even done a couple of pull requests for a project. So I just now, when I've written this, I realized I actually did something this month.
Yeah, and that's important, you know, even if something like, so it might be that it floats your boat to just install a copy of Kubuntu or a copy of Arch or whatever it is you want to do. That just going through that process of installing it and seeing whether it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, then maybe you go report a bug or something like that. That in itself is a contribution, a really valuable contribution. So I think that the moral of the story is that actually, as soon as you roll your sleeves up and start doing something, actually doing something, anything, whatever it might be, you know, you're making a contribution.
Rick, please give me the YouTube link for the show so we can spread it around on IRC.
The YouTube link for the show. Hang on one moment. It is here in the show window, I believe. If I click the link
people button. Are screaming about it.
All righty. Hold on there. Hang on a minute. I got it. I'm going to paste it. It's in the chat. Both of us should be able to see it, but I'm going to put it in the chat. There it is. And I'll put it into Kubuntu Devel. So there it is. And into Kubuntu channel. You're going to have to tell people what's going on, of course, because I'm just pasting links at random.
You can, I'll paste this and tell people what's happening.
All right. Okay. So, well, one of the things that I've been doing recently, and I'd forgotten about it. Maybe I should start doing the same thing as you, as writing a little blog. But just at the weekend, I just thought to myself, I'm going to have a go at just trying to create a Plasmoid for the KDE desktop and just see whether I can go through that process. And so I did, and I followed a tutorial, and I thought to myself, I struggled with a few bits of the tutorial.
I thought of doing that. I started a new project these past days, and I wanted to do it like that. So tell me what you did. Tell me what you did.
All right. So I went to kde.org, up into their documentation, and I searched around for Plasmoid tutorial. I found one, and I went and followed the tutorial, which allowed me to create a hello world. But it broke in a few places, and it didn't work quite so well, and there were a few bits that I didn't understand. So I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out what the problems are, and then I'm going to update the wiki on kde.org with some extra clarification on that tutorial. So that's exactly what I did, and so I put that up on up there so that other people can go and have a look at it. And then I posted it up onto Google Plus or something like that, so that other people could take a look. But it was great fun, and I spent an afternoon, you know, just playing around and getting some Plasmoids working on the KDE desktop. It was great.
What did you do? What Plasmoids did you make?
I made. I dealt with two actually. One was just a simple hello world that just basically allowed you to just. It was just the basic tutorial. Got that working. I couldn't kind of think of any cool ideas of anything to make, but there was a Plasmoid that I downloaded, which was for the Norwegian Weather Service, and it puts up charts and fancy when the moon's out and this kind of stuff, and it wouldn't work. I couldn't get it working. It kept complaining about not being able to parse an XML list. And so I decided I'd have a go at trying to fix that. Anyway, as it turned out, all that was required was that on Kubuntu, I just needed to pull in the Qt5 QML XML list dependency, which wasn't installed by default, install that by default, and then off it went. But it did mean that I ended up forking the code for the Apple and pulling a copy of that code down and actually going and looking through the guy's work and seeing some of the bits and pieces. And maybe I'll do some more on that at some point. But right now I haven't got any ideas. It's kind of like
I've got one for you.
What?
If you're interested. So I've just started a new project. It's called SVN-branch. I use SVN a lot at work, and we also use SVN for KDE translations. And switching branches in SVN is a pain, at least for me, being used to Git and all that. And I wanted an easy way to just have my project configured and then just click this button to open this project, and then click on I want to switch to this branch. And that's it. That's what I want to do. And I wanted to make this a Plasmoid, but I thought, let's first make it work in command line, and then I'll think about the GUI.
Okay.
So right now, what I have is just I have a settings file, which is a JSON. You can figure that this is my local path, this is my server path, this is my server branch path. And when you start the program, it just here are the available branches and options to create a new branch and quit. And you just give it options from the command line. That's what it does. But I want to turn that into a GUI, and especially a Plasmoid. For example, at work, this would be very useful for me and maybe for many other people. You just click a button, a widget in your bar, in your KDE bar panel, and that drops down a list that shows you your current existing branches. Then you just click on one of those branches and it switches. Okay, there are many technical details involved into that, but we don't have to get into those here. That's one idea.
Well, I'm not sure that I have the time at the moment, because I'm going to come to something else that I'm trying to wrestle with right now. But I'm just going to look here whilst I talk for a second to find out where I posted this link about this tutorial. And I'll find this tutorial in a minute. And when I do, I will. Here it is. Getting to grip on Plasmoids. I put it on my blog. Oh wow! There you go.
There's also a guide on TechBase on how to write Plasmoids and what they are.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's one, here for Plasma QML2, getting started guide for Plasma.
All right.
I'll add it in the show notes.
Okay, add that in the show notes. I'm gonna add my link into my little section here for Plasmoids, and I'm going to tell you about my next thing. So that I've been trying to get to grips with. Needs some more work, but here's the Plasmoids bit. There's a link to it on my blog, sickrimic.blogspot, and that'll take you a link to KDE as well. I've got some screenshots there so you can see what I was working on. If you go, and hopefully what you'd find is that tutorial is dead easy to follow. You go through the steps, build the bits and pieces that you need, and then all you need to do is plug the hooks to your code, and away you go. You'd have it built. So it could be as simple as that.
Wait a moment, Rick. I've just been banged with an inflatable hammer by Clive Joe. So I've been asked, is that the behavioral corrector on top of your... What?
Ah, yeah, okay. Behind your head is a large wooden mallet.
That's not wooden. That's not wooden. That's an inflatable hammer that has the Romanian flag on it. And I bought it for the Romanian National Day. And I started bagging people on the head that don't speak correctly Romanian. And they start mixing Romanian with English. We call it romgleză.
Oh, okay.
And I've thought about taking that to work but if I'm going to take it to work, people are going to get banged a lot. So I'd rather not.
Maybe I need one of those hammers the next time I go to Wales. The people in Wales speak this very old dialect, very old Celtic dialect. But of course, many of the modern words have English representation. So it's this bit of a mixture. And I'm sure I'd get nowhere doing that at all. But there we are. All right. So, in other news, one of the things that I have got involved in just recently is I have decided to step forward as the maintainer or part of a consortium. So I'm not doing it by myself, but to step forward as a maintainer of the Muon package manager. So,
bravo, bravo, Rick.
Well, yeah.
Good job.
Of course, I've got to do some maintenance on it now, which is the difficult bit.
Well, we have trust in you.
Yeah, so well, fortunately, I've got a helper. So I've got Keith ZG on Google Plus, and Keith he also hangs out on IRC. And Keith is interested in finding out more about this journey and getting involved in this. So he's decided we've kind of teamed up together and to work on it off and on. But it does mean that there are people now around that project that are going to focus on it. This is only specifically the Muon package manager tool. Okay, so Muon Discover and this Muon Updater, they're continuing to be maintained separately, but the package manager was kind of being left behind. But I've been
to this the package manager. If people know about Synaptic, this is kind of like Synaptic, but the version in Qt. And
yes,
our opinion is that it looks and it's better.
It is good. It is very, very good. And I used it at the weekend when I was trying to solve that plasma problem. I was reading through the bugs and seeing what the problem was, and I discovered I needed this XML list module for Qt 5. And I was able to use the Muon package manager to go and find that specific library and then install it and get it working. So it was really useful in that context, and I can see how developers would really benefit from that tool and where it's really useful. So I'm getting my head around it. So far, I've been able to clone it into KDevelop because it is the best SDK software development IDE on the planet.
High five!
Yeah, my man. And yeah, really, really love KDevelop. And so I've got it in a KDevelop project, all set up in a session. I've been able to build it from KDevelop and get it up and running. The only thing that's failing at the moment is it won't install. So there is some kind of link dependency or the link builder or something like that is failing. So I can't actually run it because it won't install the binary anywhere. But
that's a tricky step in KDE development. Managing dependencies, that's still a bit tricky and hard. That's why I have set up some time ago Kubuntu image, VirtualBox image with things ready set up so that you can just download the image, run it, and start working on it. A friend of mine wanted to work on some KDE project. I think it's, Carbon. It's a vector graphics editor from KDE, and he wanted to work on that. And I prepared for him this VirtualBox image so he can just start writing and reading code. Because I already knew how to set all these up. He was a newcomer in KDE, and hey, this is the project you want to work on. If you don't want to bother with all the dependencies and all the other things, just here, they're all already set up, installed. You can compile it, install it, and run it. You can just work on it.
Oh, I need one of them.
He's quite happy.
Yeah, I need one of them.
I need to update that image. I need to update that image. Still uses Vivid.
Oh, okay. So, but you know, part of the journey is kind of trying to solve those problems and figure out, you know, what's going on. So, you know, so it's getting there, and just as soon as I get it linked and installed, then I'm away. Then because I'm in a situation where I can start to look at some of the bugs that need working on, do some work on it, and rebuild it and get it going. And I'm really hopeful that I'll kind of get into my stride with this as we approach the Christmas period. I've got a bit more time on my hands, so I'll be able to do a bit more with it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Rick, we got some awesome feedback, and
okay,
we should get into that. This person, I think he's a guy. Sorry if I'm mistaken. Martin or Martin. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. It's double A. Okay. This is the email I sent to the list, right?
It is. That's right.
Yeah. So he sent this email to me and Jonathan, and I've forwarded it to the mailing list. Let me read from it. Dear Kubuntu developers, in my own 35 years of ICT career, and as long And as a longtime Linux/GNOME user, Kubuntu 15.10 is the most professional, intelligent, and beautiful desktop I have ever seen. It transcends any other desktop environment, of course.
Hey, what that man said. Go, Martin. Woohoo!
It is the perfect example of people that show that they love and know their profession. Thank you very much for this beauty. What more can I say except that I hope Kubuntu also to be fully fledged, available on most tablets and smartphones soon. We're working on that.
Yeah, do you know what? That's exactly what we want to hear. And I know that when that went out to the mailing list, that brought smiles around the houses all over the place. Very often people don't kind of send you things like that, and so it's just great that Martin took the time to send that email into us and give us that feedback. And of course, he's right. It is the most intelligent, professional, and beautifully designed desktop that I have ever seen as well.
Yeah,
that's good. Really, really good. So keep your feedback coming back to us. Obviously, you can do that by getting involved on the mailing lists. You can do it by following us on Kubuntu podcast if you want to send us information there. But the best place is go to kubuntu.org, visit the website. You'll find out how to get in touch with the community there on IRC and everything else. That's our website, kubuntu.org. You can get in touch with us there. Now, we got a message here from Philip Muscavac. And he sent this earlier on today. Philip is Yoffel on IRC, and he's one of the core Kubuntu team. And he just wanted to give a quick shout out and a big thanks to Scarlett and Rohan, who are other two members of the Kubuntu core team, because they've started on the process of doing the merges. And so he just said that he was really, really pleased with that, and he just wanted to acknowledge that to those guys. So thank you, Scarlett and Rohan. Great job. All right, now we got some Kubuntu news as well coming forward. Now, what's this? I wonder whether this is one of Aaron's. We've got a link here to Linux AIO, and something to do with multi-boot USB ISO.
I'm not exactly sure about that.
Going to have to go and have a look at the link myself.
Should we talk about it now or wait for Aaron? He said that he's...
Is he on his way? Well, maybe we can skip over this. We can skip over this one for a moment. We can come back to it a bit later. It is in the show notes. Aaron knows all about it, but I know a little bit about it, and I can cover it if necessary. But
okay.
So we want to press on because we're running short of time. We're into 20 minutes of the show already. So let's get into this main feature. So today we're going to be talking about Launchpad and about getting involved in the Kubuntu matrix. So finding and setting up a Launchpad account for new people. And also we're going to discover what bug triaging is and how you can get involved in it and drive the process of Kubuntu development, drive the way forward, and focus on that. All right, so now I'm not really used to doing the screen sharing on this one, but I guess that's probably what I'm going to need to do. So my first,
give it a try.
I'm going to give this a go. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. Wait, my power just went off. What you do?
Your power just went off.
Seriously, everything just went dark for a second.
I'm just going to make it up as I go along. All right, here we go. Let's have a look and see whether I can screen share this. I guess I need to choose this one, log in on Chromium. All right, so what I'm going to take us through here, hopefully you can see what I'm showing you here. If I set this to present to everyone, so there it is. Everybody can see this. Where I've gone to here is I've gone to login.launchpad.net. Now, if you want to get involved with bug triaging and get involved with Launchpad, first off, you're going to need yourself a Launchpad account. And you can do that by creating an account from up here on the top right. So log in to create an account, and it's filling in my details. Thank you, Chrome, but I'd prefer if you didn't do that. And I am a new Ubuntu One user. It's filling in my details again. Let's hope that doesn't go out to YouTube. I'm going to get spammed into submission. Okay.
That's why I use a virtual machine every time I do screen sharing.
Yeah, do you know what? You're quite right. But do you think anybody will think Donald Duck is fake?
I don't think they have a check for that.
Let's go Donald at Disney.com. Okay. Donald Duck, and we're going to put some kind of password in here. Mickey Mouse 123 is a good password. That's one. That's one for John the Ripper, isn't it? And then having filled in your details, go ahead and create the account, and that gets you started moving forward. I'm not going to create that account and send the poor people at Launchpad a dodgy account. I bet they've got hundreds
to read
of
and
Donald
accept the terms of service.
I have. I've ticked that. I don't. Does anybody ever read the ULA or the license? I thought it just tick the.
I usually try to read them. I don't always, but I try to read them. You never know what you find in there.
Yeah, that's the worry, isn't it?
I'm not going to get into that discussion right now, but I recommend that you read them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back a step. Not go back a step, but go forward from there. So that gets you started. Go to login.launchpad, create yourself an account. Click on that link and away you go. All right. So from there, you'll once you've got your account details, then you can come back in and you can log in here to Ubuntu One. So I'm going to log in with my account. And what's this doing? What's it doing? Take me to my account. Stop asking me questions.
Preferred email address.
Clive J says, always read the TSCs. Is that a suggestion, Clive, or is that a mandate? Do I really have to? I'm a busy guy. I don't have to read. I have time for the T's and C's. I suppose I wonder why these guys are coming and take my car away. What is this doing?
Sorry.
All right, so I don't quite know why this has decided to ask me to do this. I do hope that this isn't some kind of phishing attack.
Well, the URL looks good.
But it wants me to change my password for some reason. I know not why.
Have you done some crazy testing?
I don't know. Just go away. Can I just go here? All right. Oh, right. Okay. So I don't know what that's doing. So you can tell I'm a professional expert Launchpad user, and I've been using this for years. And it's very important to be experienced at this before you consider doing anything like bug triaging or getting involved in the community.
Yeah, and you're not logged in.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm not logged in. So once I've got my account set up, for my Ubuntu One account set up, then I can log in and register here, which puts me back to my login account. And here now I can log in, and hopefully it is going to work. Hooray! There we are. It's working.
So as you guys can see so far, Launchpad is connected to the Ubuntu One service, and it's using an open identity that connects between the two. Also, if you're a member of any groups on Launchpad, that group can be set to give you access to certain things through that open identity. So that's why this is all this going back and forward from the to and from the Kubuntu Launchpad site.
That's right. So let me give you I'm going to give you a quick brief of what's going on here on this main page when you first log in. On the left-hand side, you've got all the latest blogs and news. You've got some things that can get you started here at the top, which will give you more information about projects, bugs, teams, and so on and so forth. What's really interesting is there are loads and loads of projects that are already on Launchpad, a bit like GitHub. And there are loads of things you can go here and explore and have a look at and so on and so forth. Knock yourself out. 37,000 projects on there. You can go and have lots of fun with that. Once you've logged in, though, of course, the next thing you'll probably want to do is to actually go and visit your personal account. And you do that by clicking on your name up the top right there. And you get to write some information about yourself here. So I've said, I've written, this is lies. Enthusiastic free software, advocate and supporter of GNU Linux, particularly fond of Debian and Kubuntu. What rubbish. Anyway, I'm not going to go through too much of the details of what you can do in here, but you can set a profile, you can add other information, and further down the line, you can add other credentials and so on and so forth. What is really important, though, is that you get the opportunity to join communities and groups of people. And so you can see here that I'm a member of the Kubuntu bugs team, I'm a member of Kubuntu itself, and various other groups that you can join. And so you can get involved in specific sections of the community and get involved with those things. Now, I guess at this point, because I want to focus our energy on looking at bug triaging and how you can get involved really straight away with kind of being able to do something that contributes and find interesting problems to kind of look at and solve, then bug triaging is one of the places to go. So I'm going to go into my Kubuntu bugs team group.
Note the URL on top.
Yeah, that's right.
Or just search for Kubuntu bugs. That's easy to find if you're not already a member of this team.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can see once you've got to the Kubuntu bugs team here, you can use this button, join the team. And it's as simple as that. Click on join the team and you'll be added into that group of people. And so then you've got access to those people there. Now, of course, one of the other things is that we're interested in looking at bugs to triage. So what we've got here is the bugs tab at the top. We click on that. That takes us into the bug reporting tool. And here are a bunch of stuff that we can look at right now and have a look at. Now, I think in the show notes, I actually put, so let me just drag this over here. Hopefully, even if I move this about screens, it's still going to present to you guys.
Yeah.
I put in the show notes something here.
We're showing just that Chrome window.
Where's my interesting bug? Here it is. Bug number 1420190. Let me see if I can find that. Bug number 1420190. You can search by all kinds of different things here, and I'm hoping bug number is going to work and show me a bug to have a look at. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this was a little interesting bug here that you could take a look at. And the reason why I wanted to show this really was I wanted to show this bit at the top to just basically describe what's going on.
Before that, sorry, Rick, before that, for our audio listeners, this bug refers to KDev QML.js, and the current state of the bug is that it needs packaging. And Rick is right now describing what the bug report actually contains.
That's correct, yeah.
Let's not forget about our audio listeners. Because usually we're ugly and people don't want to look at us, so they just want to listen to what's actually happening and how to do stuff.
Hey, you just speak for yourself there, buddy. All right. So basically what you've got at the top in this panel here is it tells you what the bug affects. And in this case, it's Ubuntu, and what the status of the bug is. And currently it's new. And the little exclamation mark, it allows you then to basically come in, and it means that there'll be a menu there where you can edit and change things.
Isn't it a pencil?
Is it a pencil?
It's a pencil.
Oh, do I need another set of glasses again? It is, you're right. There's a little yellow circle with a pencil in it, as a video correctly points out. And when you click on the pencil, you get a menu selection. So you can choose the status of the bug and you can make changes to that. Also, this is the really interesting one. This bug is unassigned right now, so nobody is working on it. But what you can do is you can assign it to a person, or you can assign it to yourself. So if you wanted to pick up and start working on a bug and processing it and doing some work on it, you could assign it to yourself and find out more information about it. All right, so this bug basically describes what is going on, and it basically is a request from a user who has said that please could we package KDev QML.js, and it was reported by Sitter on IRC. And then there's more information about the particular package that needs to be worked up. And Brian Murray has put some notes on here to say that this bug has been tagged and needs packaging, and tells us a little bit more about it. And then beyond that, we've got a section here where we can add a comment. So if we were interested in doing some packaging, for example, this would be a great bug to begin working on. And then we could go away and start following the tutorials that are available on the website. On kubuntu.org, you can find the tutorials for how to get started in packaging, and you could begin packaging here. Or if you were experiencing this bug because it was a bug that was affecting you as well as this person, then you could also At the top, you can click on the plus symbol to say that this bug also affects you as a person. And of course, you can then add your comments and notes to it. And that
changes would basically subscribe you to this bug report, and you would receive emails about any changes to this bug report.
That's right. So your subscriptions are here on the right-hand side. It says you have subscriptions that may cause you to receive notifications. So at the moment, I'm currently subscribed to this bug. And you can edit those here in these panels on the right-hand side. And that will allow you to decide whether you want to be subscribed to updates on this bug or not. And I don't want to get, I don't want to, there are quite a lot of other functions there, but the best way to discover them is to go into the bug triaging tool and explore them. Go and have a look around them, click on the buttons, you know, have a look, explore and experiment with this, and see what you can find, and see what floats your boat. What do you find interesting?
Do we currently have a documentation page on how to do bug triaging in Kubuntu?
Yes, we do indeed. Absolutely. So I've put links in our show notes to this, which is I'm going to copy the link address so I can put it into this window, and I'm going to open it in a new window here. So hopefully this is going to take us to the page so we can see the notes about it. You can get access to this bug triaging information from kubuntu.org. There are links on there in the community section, or you can go to the show notes for this show today, and you'll see them in the bug triage process there. And this is basically that page, and it's all part of Kubuntu policies, and it tells you basically what the policy is and how you can get involved in the bug triage process and what's involved in doing it, and so on and so forth. More information on that as well. All right.
Have a look through that and see if there are any things that are not clear to you. You can just go ahead and ask us wherever on email or on IRC, whatever is more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Just you know, just basically just get involved, dig in, roll your sleeves up, as we said earlier in the show. Roll your sleeves up and poke at a few things. Do not be afraid. Okay, do not be afraid. You can't break anything. Just dive in there and have a go, and you'll see where you get to. There are loads of bugs in here in the Kubuntu bug team that need to be worked on, and we're basically continuing to triage this. This is one of the things that I do sometimes when, and again, it's one of these things that, you know, when you have got half an hour or 20 minutes and you just want something to do, you can just drop in here and have a look and see what's going on. You could be nosy and have a poke around. And as you explore it, you'll find it's a great lead in as well, because the problems that people are experiencing, sometimes you can solve them, and sometimes they draw you deeper into the system. You might find out an area of Kubuntu that you didn't know about before, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you might learn about some different software, different functionalities that are in Kubuntu or KDE software. You might find out about those. But also, there might be a very simple bug report. Someone doesn't know how to do something and they think something's broken. And then if you know how to do that, you can just help them and guide them, give a comment, hey, just click on that, and then it works. And if that works, yay, you solved the bug.
Yeah, exactly. And it really can very often be just as simple as that, just as you just said then.
To triage a bug can take as less as 2 minutes to as much as a few months or years. So yeah, depending on what exactly the bug is, it might be implement converting Jupiter into a star, and that will take several centuries, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it is. So it varies. And the thing is don't feel, also the other thing is don't feel defeated by something. If something suddenly gets too big and you've done some work in it, you've written some notes and you're going, so for example, I was working on one with KDN Live, the video editing tool, and I couldn't get it to render audio. And I thought it maybe had something to do with pulsed audio or something like that. So I started to dig deeper into the bug, finding more information. And eventually I discovered that actually what needed to happen was that the melt libraries that sit underneath it and do all of that merging together, they needed to be repackaged from upstream in Debian, because there'd been a change from FFmpeg to AV convert. I was so far out of my depth when I got to that point. Like, I have no idea how to do any of that. So I had to leave that bug and not do any more work on it. I couldn't take it any further. However, in going through that process of discovering what the problem was, documenting my experience of how it manifested itself, and then finding out that actually this is why it's doing it, I put all of those notes in the problem. That meant that the person that did understand Melt and how to recompile it with AV convert support was able to look at all of those notes and go, oh yeah, I see what's wrong with it. Well, that's really easy. And that next person could fix it. So even the tiniest note or contribution or update that you add, it has a very powerful value. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Of course, if you have several minutes to kill, an hour to kill, or how much time are you willing to give to this, that time can benefit everybody, because then the developer who can implement what you might not know how to, then that developer doesn't have to invest that time anymore, just reads your experience and then they can continue from there. That's why free software exists, because we are working as a community, we are collaborating. It's not just one-man job.
You give a house. Sorry, you give a house. I wish you give a brick and you get back a house. That's the deal.
Exactly.
So now we should talk a little bit about something that confused the living daylights out of me a lot, and I found it a source of frustration, because it was this bit about what's a KDE bug and what's a Ubuntu bug. How do we make that distinction to decide what needs to be reported in Launchpad and stay reported in Launchpad, but what should be escalated up to bugs.kde.org? What do you think? What are your feelings on that video? How do you think that line sits?
In a very short explanation for this would be, if it's an application, then it's 99% of the times it goes to KDE bugs. If it's about how you install Kubuntu or how you do some configurations that affect directly the operating system, not a specific application, like networking is not working at all, your webcam is not working, mousepad, drivers, all that, problems with that, those go into Kubuntu, and from there they might be upstreamed to Ubuntu. That's a very short explanation. Now, of course, there are lots of exceptions to this, and I'm hoping, Rick, you can give us more insight on this.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I mean, one of the things that the Ubuntu distribution comes with is the apport bug reporting tool. So usually when something crashes on your desktop, for example, or you experience an application error,
which we hope doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's true. And it doesn't happen too often. Although I must say, you know, right now, because we got all that new wonderful Plasma 5, K-Frameworks 5 stuff, you know, there are some little bits of stability issues that you're going to experience. And that's where you can really help. Because if you can report bugs for that, that's a great start. So now the apport tool, when you find that, when you get that open, I wonder whether I can get that open actually and show people. I think from the command line it's called Ubuntu-bug. Let's try that. See whether it works. Well, it hasn't come back and said it doesn't know what I'm talking about yet, so that could be a start. Hey, here we go. Right. I wonder whether I can now present this little tool to you and show you. No, it's not showing me that bit. Oh, yes, it is. Here it is there. Okay, start the screen share for this one. All right. So basically there are two ways to make this happen. If the bug reporting tool pops up, so in Kubuntu, this will be
Rick,
Dr. Konqi.
Rick, you're not presenting this to everyone. I don't.
Oh, right. Okay. Let me
There you
solve
go.
that problem. That better. Okay. So if you get a bug that is triggered by Kubuntu, it'll be Dr. Konqi that normally picks that up and recognizes that something's failed, and it'll tell you that your system's experienced a bug or a crash, and do you want to send a bug report? When you click yes, you want to send a bug report, Dr. Konqi will gather some information about your system, what type of CPU and what your installation is, what version of Kubuntu or Ubuntu you're using, and lots of other really useful information for the developers. And then it'll open up this Ubuntu bug reporting tool here. And you'll see here that basically this kind of describes what are the kind of problems that belong on Launchpad. You can have problems with the Ubuntu release upgrade or anything to do with the distribution, sound or audio related problems, security issues, things like USB sticks and drives and plug-in devices, maybe problems with your display. So, for example, if your window manager was crashing or crashed or something like that, these would be useful. And in this case, you can kind of basically click on any one of these to decide what the problem is, sound or audio related problems. So let's have a look at that. So what the system does now is reopen a different window. So I'm going to have to put this back into presentation mode. Let me find this. Present to everyone. So I'll put this back up. And what it's doing at the moment is that I've got a little window on my screen that's collecting this problem information. The other way that you can invoke this is from a command line terminal or even from the alt space. So the great thing in Kubuntu is that you've got the alt space tool that will just open up the K runner, and you could just alt space type Ubuntu-bug and it will fire this window up, and then you can begin reporting on the problem. So now what it says is what's wrong. And so let's say well, how about other users can access my files or home directory? Now, let's not go with that one. That's not so good. Go with, how about that? My screen isn't locked when I come out of suspend or hibernate. So now we can follow that process through and click OK.
All right, you have to present again.
I do. And what this has come back this time is being a bit smart and telling me that actually that's probably because get it on presentation. So it says by default, the root account is disabled in Ubuntu and you have to use the sudo command to make things work. So it gives you some information there. So it tries to steer you in the right direction for people that are struggling, but also it will take you through the process of actually fully reporting the bug. And what it will do when it does the bug report, I was hoping it was going to do this, but I chose the wrong path.
What you showed right now is this is a frequently asked question situation where most people, they have a basic problem, and that's just a frequently asked question that people don't know at first. And you don't need to report a bug for every tiny little problem. There might be a very easy solution, and that's why they have this frequently asked questions wizard here that just points you to a link on a wiki page where you can learn more about how to do that and how that works. So you don't have to report a bug and ask more people to triage it and see, wait, this is not actually a bug, this is just a usage problem.
That's right. So we've got a real live one here now, because as I clicked to get out of airport, then it crashed. So so maybe things are going in our direction. So let me just pull this one up and screen share this. I'm going to try to take you through this and show you how we go through this process.
This is Dr. Konqi.
So this is Dr. Konqi. That's right. Dr. Konqi's fired up and it said, welcome to the reporting assistant. What do you want to do next? So do you remember what you were doing? Yes, I do. And does it crash all the time?
This would start up whenever a KDE application crashes. If Plasma crashes, if Kmail crashes, if some KDE application crashes, Dr. Konqi would immediately pop up and ask you, hey, we've seen that this application crashed. Do you want to report the bug on it and have someone investigate on it?
That's exactly right. That's right. And so now the reporting assistant's going to ask me a few questions. So do I remember what I was doing before the crash? Yes, I do. Does the application crash all the time? Well, sometimes, not every time. And please select what information you can provide. What I was doing before the application crashed. Well, I can remember that, so I can put that information in. What the system will do now is it's going to create a back trace and generate some information.
Well, the backtrace is actually a list of functions that the application is doing in the background while it crashes. So it needs to, you need to have the debug symbols installed so that this application, Dr. Konqi can look into exactly what functions were called, when, with what parameters. See if you can look, if you look and hear what Rick is showing right now. This is some the backtrace that has the history of what functions were called. Thank you, Rick. So these are the functions that were called recently and when the application crashed. So you see it got a segmentation fault because of that and that and that. This is not really relevant to us users, but to developers, this is like gold, because this is the only way they can figure out what happened, what caused the application to crash. This is the most essential thing you can provide for a developer so they can debug it and see what exactly happened. Because without this, they wouldn't know what happened, where did the program go through, what happened, and what caused the crash. So it's most important that you have this debug symbols for the application that crashed.
So what we can do there is we can use this install debug symbols tool. And what this will do is it will go off.
The screen sharing doesn't show the window. Right now you have a pop-up that asks you for confirmation to install the debug symbols. It will eventually show you a list of the packages it tries to install, and you need to accept those and allow it to install all those packages. It just adds more dependence, more packages to your system. It shouldn't bother you.
What you'll tend to find as well is that that, for example, in the Muon package application manager, you can see this, or if you've used apt in the past and you've looked for a package. So for here, for example, what this was looking for is it wanted Python 2.7 dbg, and that basically that underscore dbg tells you that it's not actually the Python 2.7 package, it's the Python 2.7 package's debug symbols underscore dbg. And so that's what it's installing right now, and it's just downloading that package file, 95% almost there. So in a moment we should be able to hopefully reload and regenerate this backtrace with a full set of symbols in it. So now we've got that useful, really useful bug report information.
Yeah, without those debug symbols, what you see right now is just a bunch of function calls. You don't see exactly what parameters were sent to those functions and what are the conditions in which those functions were called. It should look different now.
Yes, it does. It's basically this has changed, and these look a bit more descriptive, these functions here.
Yeah, it goes a bit more deeper into the system.
I can't say that I genuinely understand what they're doing, but basically it looks like it's
who knows the application. Who knows the application knows a lot better what exactly you would expect to happen.
Yeah. So hopefully now we can click next, and oh, it's still telling me that the information is not useful enough. Why is that? Let's go back. Let me tell it to reload those debug symbols and see whether we can.
What application did you start?
Job. It was Ubuntu bug, the Ubuntu bug reporter. So apport that crashed.
So you caused it to crash?
I'm not. Basically, I think I pressed the wrong thing. I went to the FAQ questions where it said click OK, and then I think I just closed that window and it fell over. No. So it now tells me, unfortunately, it tells me the report doesn't contain enough information. However, let's have a look and see whether we can get some information in here. I'm just going to jump to
we see a black window. We see a black window. We don't see what's actually happening.
I'm going to fix that. Here we are. So now what I've got here, I'm going to present this to everybody again. So what this has done now is it's allowed me to open up the content of the crash report. And unfortunately, on this particular occasion, it hasn't produced enough information to create a full report. But you can see that it's put the backtrace information in there. It's told us what version of KDE we're using, what version of Qt we've got installed, what the operating system is in its kernel, which distribution, so in 1204 LTS, and then we've got the backtrace of what was happening. And so in here, in detail, tell us what you were doing. That's probably what's missing from this.
If you no, actually, if you would have enough, the backtrace is not enough. That's what the Dr. Konqi considers, that this backtrace is not enough, probably because it doesn't see any values in there, just these function calls. I don't think the symbols get into effect here. Maybe.
Okay.
So that's what I think it happens. So usually, if you already have the symbols installed, then it would go far easier. Usually, it depends on the application, on how the application stores its debug symbols. Let me continue. Never mind this. So usually the application crashes. You open the wizard. You enter to install the debug symbols. And you create the backtrace. Then you click next, and then you have to describe as best as you can what you did to the application. What the application did, what did you do exactly when the application crashed. And when you would click on next there, you will get a report, search for a duplicate bug in case that bug has already been reported. If not, then you just click next, log in with your KDE identity, and it would report that bug for you with all the details you entered. If there's a duplicate, then you can just select a duplicate and add your information to that bug report that already exists. If the scenario occurs, what we just had, that you don't have enough information and you still want to submit a bug report, on that window that Rick just had open, you would just select all the text and you should read the last line. Submit this to kubuntu-devel@list or ubuntu.com.
That's right. To a mailing list, basically.
Yeah, send that to the Kubuntu Devel mailing list. All that text you have in there, and add the description of how you use the application when it crashed. Send all that to the mailing list, and we'll get back to you and see how we can help you deal with that.
Yeah.
So this is a short overview of how to use Dr. Konqi. I know Dr. Konqi better. I don't know the Apper. No, not Apper.
Apport.
Apport. Sorry. I don't really use Apports that much. I just use Dr. Konqi. Sorry.
Yeah. That's right. Don't worry. No problem.
But if I don't know how to use, if I don't know how to help you with Apport, there are other people that know how to use that. But I'm good with Dr. Konqi. Other people are good with Apport.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do, because we're getting very tight for time now on things to keep the show nice and tidy. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a presentation of bugs.kde.org. So this is the bit where, having done your, it's an Ubuntu distribution or an installation problem or a window manager problem or a sound problem. It's not one of those. It's you were using Carbon or you were using Contact or Kmail and something went wrong and it broke. Where do you report that bug to? So when it's to do with the KDE application, then the place to go to is bugs.kde.org. And I'm right there now, and I'm going to bring that up and screen share that with you guys and present to everyone so you can see what I'm doing. So again, this is a different system because this is now part of the KDE.org infrastructure, which is separate because you can run KDE on SUSE, on Arch, on Windows, on Mac, on all kinds of stuff. The K-Desktop environment is platform agnostic, so you can run it on many different places.
Rick?
Yeah.
To get as much of the screen, please, press F11.
All righty, one moment, and I will do that. Oh no, that's F11 on the wrong window. Ah, hang on, it's all going wrong. Is this better?
Yeah. Loads.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
So you can see, basically, I have just logged in here, and I won't take you through the process of creating an account, but you can create an account on here, get logged in. That'll give you a KDE, a bugs.kde account that you can come in and have a look at. Let me come and see whether I've got any bugs that I was working on. I'm sure I was working on some just recently.
You have my bugs at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. I just clicked on that and it didn't
So
bring
you
me
can,
back anything.
you can do an advanced search with all kinds of filters, and you can save all those filters in your own account.
You can. That's right. Okay, using this remember search.
Yeah, edit
So
search.
how about let's start a new search then. So let's go and see whether we can. I have got a bug, right, that I filed. In fact, I didn't file a bug. I added to a bug because I was having some trouble with Kmail. So let's just have a look here and see. So I put Kmail in there, and now you can see a list of all different bugs that are affected by Kmail.
Whoa.
And this is not that different, actually, from what we saw in Launchpad.
The list was limited to 500 bugs.
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
So
in
there
there
are quite a few of bugs reported. Many of them are already obsolete because that functionality might not exist or might have been rewritten and nobody triaged the bug so that we know, hey, this bug is not valid anymore. So bugs need to be triaged. That's what we're talking about in this show. If you have 10 minutes, look through the bugs, either on Bugzilla from KDE or on Launchpad from the Kubuntu bugs. Please take a look on either of them, especially if you want to look at a project that you care a lot about. What you would do on the KDE would be pretty much similar to Launchpad. It just has a different interface that you have to get used to, and find an application that you are most fond of and see what bugs are reported on it. If you know that application well, you can see, hey, this bug is still valid, this bug is not valid anymore, just comment on it, hey, this doesn't happen anymore, or I can't reproduce it. If you comment on that, then the person who the bug is assigned to will be notified, and they'll say, okay, this bug is not valid, I can close it then. This bug is still valid, this needs to be prioritized. So, and also on the KDE bug tracking system, you can vote on bugs. Rick, can you please open any bug? Doesn't really matter.
Sure, let's go and have a look at this K-spell bug 66516 here. This is quite new. In fact, it was opened up at 9 o'clock tonight. So let's go and have a look and see what the problem is. So it says that the on-the-fly spell checker could automatically detect the currently used language by selecting the language that leads to the least number of errors,
so
as long as not enough.
This bug is a wish list, as you can see in the importance field. So there are many bugs that are just wish lists. People, hey, I want this functionality. They reported a bug for it. So
and this has got
bugs mean that something is broken.
Yeah. So we've got lots of votes there for that, and we can see.
Yeah, you can just click on the vote button, and you can add votes to this project. Keep in mind that not all projects, most, but not all projects have the voting system enabled.
Yeah.
Just change the numbers and click on change my votes, and then your vote is recorded.
So I'm going to go back to the search tool here. So one of the things I was thinking about doing was we could go back to that Kmail bug, for example, and there are loads. There are, just something as simple as arbitrary administration, right? So there are bugs here that are still in a state of open. And if I've clicked on the change column here, so I can sort them by order. And so we've got things like bugs for Konqueror and Konqueror, for example.
Oh my God, this is open since 2002.
So, I mean, we could just come in and do something as simple as this. And we would just basically we could just change this status to, we could put in the comments section here, we could just go out of date. So let's put that in there, and I just need to change the status now on this.
So as you can see, this applies to version 3. Someone who uses this, I don't know, this is a description page. I think you need to go back. The status is right below the comment.
Right
below the comment section. There, you don't have rights to change the status.
Oh.
Otherwise, you would have a combo box over there.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, maybe that's the problem why these aren't getting triaged then. They're probably legacy.
Yeah, it's most likely this is a legacy bug. Someone should look into it. Someone who uses Konqueror should see, hey, does this still happen? And if not, then just add a comment to it. Or if you're really mad about the bug, you can comment about it on IRC or the mailing list, and someone will look into it and close it.
Let's have a look at. Let's have a quick look and see for
open bugs on Amarok.
Let's put this words stops playing. I have a bit of problem with Amarok stopping playing all the time. Amarok does not play CD if those are selected with the menus. Amarok freezes while metadata changes are applied. That looks quite similar to crashes when using music brains. So this one looks like it's interesting. So we could go and have a look in there. And this is on Fedora. So you can see it's on different distributions here. The steps to produce. It says mark multiple tracks in your collection, right click, edit the track details, change something, hit save and close. So that tells me, so what I could do now is I could go, oh really? Does that really do that? Let me go and have a look here at Amarok. So if I open up Amarok.
We don't see Amarok, we just see black.
You will in a moment. I'm going to fix that.
So to the viewers, what's happening is Rick is sharing just a single window, not his whole desktop. And when he opens a new window and gives focus to that one, we just see black because he's not sharing that window with us. So he has to switch the window.
That's right. So have I got, here I got some local music here. Let's have a look and see what we got. So one moment, I'm going to set this to present in here. So it says, the bug says, steps to reproduce, mark multiple tracks in your collection. And right, so let's take this 808 state, pick this one up here. I'll find one with a load of, oh, come on. I need to find an album with a load of, there's bound to be some in
Go to AC/DC, you should have.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. That's what we mean. Right, so if I, oops, daisy.
Whoa.
2, 3, 4. Let's do those and click edit track details. Okay. So it says do this. Then change.
We don't see the window. You can describe to us what's happening.
Okay. So it's opened a little summary window in here, and it's given me some tags. Okay. So it says change something. So if I put silly, I've gone into the tags label and I've added a comment: silly tag bug check. Right, so I've changed something there, and then it says finally hit save and close. Save and close. And it says actual results, the view freezes.
Does it?
No.
Edit them again and see if your settings got saved.
Okay, let's go and have a look. Edit tracks again. Yes, silly tag bug check.
Okay, close and reopen Amarok and see if the settings are still there. So AC-DC, the only album you have, first 5 tracks. Okay.
Quit that. Okay, so I'm stopping Amarok, and I'm going to bring Amarok up again, and I'll share the window before I do anything else. So bring up Amarok again. It's just starting now. Here we are. Put this over here. Let's go back to the screen sharing process so you guys can see that again. Screen share and present to everyone.
Okay,
so there we go. So this one, AC-DC, 1979, Highway to Hell, first 5 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 5. And edit tracks. And silly tag bug check is indeed there.
Okay, then just go back to the bug report. Keep in mind what version of Amarok you're using right now, and against what version of Amarok was the bug reported.
Let's have a look at that for a moment then. So I'm just going to get Amarok window to come back up. Come on, Amarok window. One moment. I'm going to bring the Amarok window back up, but whilst I do that, I'm just going to reshare the bug report with you guys so you can see what we do next with the bug report. So let me find that one. this one. Start the screen share on that. Okay. Present to everyone.
We see the bug right now. Apparently, Miriam asked a question to start the Amarok from console and see what with some flags, see if what happens, paste the output here.
We could do that, yeah, absolutely. We could trace that. What I'm going to do for the moment is just get this version. So I am using about Amarok. This is on Amarok 2.5.0. So
reported on.
The bug is reported on Amarok 2.8.0.
So you're
okay.
Behind.
So
with the version.
I am behind. I can't add too much more to that, but I probably could add a little dialogue in here that might be helpful from a regression point of view. Miriam says, how many files do you change at the same time? Cedric explains that. Miriam says this. Miriam says, well, if you think Amarok should be a jack of all trades, blah, 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 please give a hand. Okay, so what we could put in here, could just add a simple comment. We just put, whilst testing this on Amarok version 2.5.0 on Kubuntu LTS 12.04, I could not get this
to typo
reproduce. I'll fix that in a moment. I could not get this fault to reproduce. So that tells them that something got introduced between version 2.5 and version 2.8. So something changed in the code there. Now, just that piece of simple information that we've gathered here is really useful, because it means that the person that's got control to the sources tree can go and say, all right, show me the diffs between the files for 2.5 and the files for 2.8 and show me what's changed, and even specify perhaps that particular area of the code. So that is a useful piece of information. And the status of this bug right now is unconfirmed. So at the moment, by adding that in and saying, well, we can't reproduce it on this platform, that's a really useful comment. And we've just spent just a few minutes just to try that and see where we got to. And actually, it was a bit of fun. So it was pretty good. And there you can see the comment that I've posted there at the bottom.
Awesome.
Okay. We better move swiftly.
Yeah,
swiftly.
Our time is pretty much up, so we should get to the outro.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump off to the show notes. Let's pull this out of present to everyone and move forward. And we will find out where we're at to take us on the outro of the show as soon as I get to the show notes. Okay. All right. So have a look at the show notes. They're going to be in our Google Plus channel just shortly. You'll be able to go and have a look at them. Of course, if you want to find out more about Kubuntu.org, then come along and visit our website, Kubuntu.org. Or, of course, you get in touch with the team and members of the community on IRC. You can find us on irc.freenode.net, #Kubuntu and #Kubuntu-devel for the development channel. We're available on Telegram. So if you do a search for that, you'll be able to find us. And, of course, social media, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn. Hey, we're all over the place. Plenty of things going on there.
Quick note about Telegram. On Telegram, we have a channel and a group. So the channel is just streaming with news. So you can see what's happening in Kubuntu. We are trying currently to set up a bot that posts on Telegram all the news posts we have on the website. And the group is mainly for developers. So if you want access on that, you would have to request it. That group is not public. We had a lot of problems with spammers. So,
yeah. So we left you with some to-dos. Go and have a look at the show notes. You can find out about how to get your Ubuntu One account set up, how to get logged into Launchpad, how to come and join the Kubuntu teams, Kubuntu bug teams on Launchpad. All of that information and links are there. Also links to bugs.kde.org. You can find those links there. We've got links to our individual blogs. You can find out more about the presenters, myself, Ovidiu, and Aaron, of course. And I suppose all it's left to do really is to say farewell. So I'm going to do my outro and say, really great I've really enjoyed the show tonight. It's been really exciting, and I just kind of really got into talking about that and exploring that. And it was great, actually, to work on that together as a pair of you. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, man. That's it from me, Rick Timmis. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon as well. I'm Ovidio Florin. Don't forget us. Okay.